Excuse me.
Speak English.
Yeah, hey, how are you doing?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing great. Are you from here?
No. This whole neighborhood is actually very historic and beautiful. And until you came along, it was beautiful, I should say.
Yeah.
But now it's completely destroyed.
It's completely destroyed. Sir, your name? What's your name?
So furious.
Tofurius, a very rude man that we found here in Nizhny.
American.
He says he's American. Watch out for these kind of tourists. They're destroying everything around here. Hello and welcome. I am in the city of Nizhny. That's right, back at it again, outside on the streets. I hope you guys can watch this entire video and leave all the comments, all your thoughts down below. I read every comment. Enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. I am in the city of Nizhny. This is a city that is about 800 years old. And I'm going to give you a tour without knowing anything about it. We're going to go see the city, some monuments, and we're going to explore. Like this guy, I have no idea who he is. And the Kremlin, just like the one in Moscow, is also a center of attention here in Nizhny. We're going to walk around the city and see what the city has to offer from a perspective of someone who's never been here before. All right, let's go. One thing that's fascinating about this city is that it sits next to the Volga, and actually the Kremlin of this city is on the banks of it. You can see the walls there, right? And of course there's fog, and it's not so clear. It's also just the morning, so you're gonna have not the best visibility, but from what I can tell, it is amazing. The view, can you imagine in summer? We're gonna take a walk into the Kremlin and check it out. But here's the back view. So this guy is actually facing into the city, and to his back is the Volga. If you wonder how old this city is, just like I told you in the beginning, well, it seems that this city is really proud of being centuries old. They have actual steps here, they're bricks with the date of its foundation. And so you can see on this brick, guys, you're gonna see right now, it is from 1221. You know that in the year 1221, there was a lot of war going on. There's a lot of trouble around the world. Well, this is why I wanted to bring you specifically to the Kremlin first. This is one of the entrances, and this Kremlin is one of the more beautiful ones because the Volga is at its side. And I think this one's better than the one in Moscow, but you can get angry about that later. Let's go inside and get rid of this sound from the cars. And that is the entrance. As you can see, we're walking in. And this is just almost like a miniature city, guys, inside the walls. There's more modern buildings inside. You have some of the newer buildings and the more renovated buildings. But of course, there's an Orthodox shrine there. We're going to check that out for you. It seems to be between modern, Soviet maybe. Some buildings could be Soviet, but I doubt it. This is old Russian Empire and modern buildings only. Russian Orthodoxy, like churches, shrines, temples. I have no idea what you call them because I came from America. We're Catholics, Mexican Americans, but this is something you're going to see all over Russia. This is basically one of the things that staples Russia together. Why? Because from Moscow all the way to Novosibirsk, all the way to Irkutsk, all the way to Vladivostok, you're going to see Orthodox buildings. Now, in my opinion, it is one of the more beautiful religions because of the people that are following the religion, because of the way they represent themselves. I will look inside for you, but just take my word for it. This is something you can't escape when you travel to Russia, and Nizhny is not the exception. So I'm walking, guys, and I told you that this place is filled with all sorts of religious things, and we're inside of the Kremlin now, and you can see there's Orthodox cross there, followed by a beautiful tower there for, I don't know what it's called. You know, I told you I have no idea. If you know what type of things these are, if you're from Nizhny, please comment below. Tell me the names of these things that I'm visiting. I don't have a long time here in Nizhny, but I wanted to explore some of the sites with you. Now, we took the elevator up. We are in the building that I just showed you. I am going to wait till the people get their view from the top, but you can take the elevator, you can take the stairs, and we're just waiting for our turn to come up here. Do not miss the opportunity to come inside this building and get the view. This bell might look old, but it's actually a birthday present that the president of Russia and Federation gave to Nizhny for its celebrating 800 years of history. This bell may look old, but don't let it deceive you. There's many things in this place that might look old but are new, but that might look new but they're actually old. Nizhny is trying to do its best to fit in between the lines of those two things. This is a very young bell, but it has a long meaning of history. This is the view. Although it's not that clear, you're going to get to see the Aka going into the Volga, I believe. And this is where they meet. Two rivers that are pretty significant to the Russia, but the Volga definitely is very important. And now we're back down, guys. This is the building that I was on, where the bells were ringing, where the Volga was there. You can go into that building and get a beautiful view of some of the more iconic things about Nizhny. Now we're still just walking through the Kremlin inside of the walls, and I can't get over how it just looks like a city in here. It doesn't feel like too much of a historical place because of some of the buildings are just too modern. Interestingly enough, here in Nizhny, it seems that it's in early autumn. You can see the trees behind me. They're still not all dead. There's still some green leaves. Of course, some are yellow. They've already fallen. But where I'm from in Siberia, in Irkutsk, it's going to be very hard to find a birch tree with leaves. In Slyudanka, we're almost inside of winter, which shows that Nizhny is actually a place with favorable weather. I'm in front of one of the museums that they seem to have inside the walls. This one's Arsenal. This is just one of the museums. I'm guessing there's more because it says right wing, so there might be others inside. My advice is when you come to Nizhny, try to see as many museums as possible. I don't have the time to go inside, but comment down below if you've already been inside there. Tell me what's inside. See cars just driving like if it's a city, and people are coming into the museum. I'm not going in, but many people do visit. And like I told you, if you have the time, be one of those people. Go inside and get the full experience, because I'm only here for a short time and I'm not going to have the opportunity to show you today. Many kids and family like, for some reason, to see tanks, so I feel that Russia does it on purpose and puts a T-34 in every city, in every village, and Nizhny is not the exception. This is the Dmitrovskaya Tower, and I mentioned earlier it has a deer on top. They actually serve deer at the restaurants. And this is just another entrance you could have into the Kremlin, into the inside of the walls. Well, if you want to know the price of the entrance to the wall, it's going to be on this sign, and you're going to have to take those stairs to go up. Now, for some reason, I have been seeing bricks all over Nizhny. I'm not sure if this city is going to play a big part in bricks. Maybe they're going to host something of bricks, but it just shows you how connected Nizhny is to the rest of the world, because there's nothing about bricks in Irkutsk or other cities that I've been to. Nizhny is strategically placed very close to Moscow. So if you're visiting Moscow, again, you have to come to Nizhny. This is like a government building here?
Yes.
Nice. Inside the Kremlin is a government building. More things to do with bricks. You can see that the city actually invites a lot of its young students, a lot of its civilians that live in the city. They get tours from the government itself. And what better way to stay connected than with visiting the things that exist in your city? Look how beautiful and green things are still. This is relatively green for the time. They're actually turning the ground and still taking care of the grass. We haven't had grass in my town for about a month. But here in Nizhny, I keep saying it, it seems to be green. The weather seems to be better here than in Irkutsk. But follow me so you can see how well kept the grass is on this side as well. There's plants and trees and bushes. It's all nice. Something that I find very interesting. These are young, I'm assuming, students who are standing guard on the eternal flame. They may have already done or may do a change of the guard. But again, this is on the edge of the Volga. Behind me, you already know, we went up and rang those bells. To my right is the Volga, where they're doing the change of the guard. I feel that today is basically going to revolve around what's inside the Kremlin. And we're going to keep walking, but just know that there's so many things inside these walls. I can only imagine in the future I will visit Nizhny again and you'll see more of it. Let's continue on this way, because there's many other things that you can experience when you come inside the Kremlin. Here on the edge of the Volga still is a T-34. But right across is a music building. So it seems that Russians can do both. They're lovers of the art and they are defenders of their country. And all the way over here, you're going to see a gigantic deer. I could shake it a little bit, but I'll probably get more in trouble if I knock it down. I don't know what's inside of that building. There's a lot of things around this place that I have no idea what they are, but you can really feel the history. I've told you before, some of these buildings look old, some of these buildings look modern. It's a mixture of both. It's the essence of Nizhny, and over again, we're going to keep seeing these deer. This is a great symbol of the city. And I didn't know, but I went to a restaurant and they were serving deer. I don't usually eat it from other people. I like to go hunting and make jerky. But I'll repeat it again. If you come to the city, there's restaurants that will serve it. I didn't go on that tour, guys, but people are taking the tour and they're still walking on the inside of the wall. You get to walk around the entire perimeter. I don't have the time to do it. Good thing I wasn't allowed in. But on this side, you will be able to see the Volga. Those people can look out. And if you go back 800 years or whenever this was built itself, you could imagine just people, cannons out into the Volga if people were attacking. This, in the end of the day, is a fortress. Just by walking around, I figured out that these signs are letting us know that actually in that building, you could actually go under the Kremlin wall. This is the old tram. And Yeah, you don't need to learn a lot of Russian to kind of understand what's happening in this place, right? You can see this is the Kremlin, the walls around this fortress, and all the old buildings that were there. So always keep your eyes out for posters or pictures.
And the original one was built in what year?
It was 1896.
1896. Wow. And this is the new one.
Managed to get on that machine. It was made in perhaps 1896, something like this. And this is the modern version of it, but we saw the posters in front. This building is located behind the deer. Now, if you want to ride that and see the other side of the Kremlin wall, you're going to take that and it'll take you down here and you get to enjoy the rest of the city. And this is what it looks like on the other side of the wall. Beautiful architecture, the streets, some of them are made like this. You see now the city is really alive on the other side of the Kremlin wall. And check out the view. We came from the top of the Kremlin and now we're outside of the Kremlin. And this is just awesome. This, like I said, is really beautiful architecture. And if you don't mind, excuse me.
Speak English.
Yeah, hey, how are you doing?
Good, how about you?
I'm doing great. Are you from here?
No. This whole neighborhood is actually very historic and beautiful. And until you came along, it was beautiful, I should say.
Yeah.
But now it's completely destroyed.
It's completely destroyed. Sir, your name? What's your name?
So furious.
Tofurius, a very rude man that we found here in Nizhny.
American.
He says he's American. Watch out for these kind of tourists. They're destroying everything around here. Now we get to see Nizhny's heart. The soul of Nizhny is in the streets and its traffic. They're doing some work on the outside of the Kremlin. This is how the streets look like here. Now pay attention, guys, because on this street you guys can actually see the Volga, right? It's awesome. Everywhere you turn there's history all around and important landmarks, especially like the Volga. Well, I met somebody on the street who was nice enough to stop. What's your name?
My name is Lisa.
Oh, nice, Lisa. A lot of people want to know, everybody goes to Moscow, but is Nizhny nice?
Yes, it's beautiful. I love that here is so much water and that it's nearby the Volga.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What would you say, would you be interested if foreigners like me come visit this city? Is it something that you look forward to or you don't really like this, foreigners coming?
No, I like it a lot. I
Yeah?
think more people should come to see our beautiful Nizhny Novgorod.
And there you guys go. Come visit Nizhny. You can maybe run into her on the street like I did. But we're going to keep walking and checking out the architecture. Thank you so much for being on.
You're welcome. До свидания.
This is how everything's looking like here on this street. It seems that every city in Russia has these little scooter things. It is a way of getting around, but you might need an app. I've talked about this before, like some of these are really economical. If there's traffic and you want to go to the other side of the city, these are way better than getting an Uber. You just have to get over the fact that you're riding on a scooter and it might be dangerous, I guess. But they're better options than Ubers. If there's traffic, take a scooter. We're just walking down the street. And this looks really Russian here on the right. I'm used to seeing stuff like this. I wanted to stop at this particular church because it caught my attention. You may have seen at the top the different colors. I want to go inside and maybe we can find some history inside, but it is one of the many Orthodox churches that you're going to find in Nizhny. They're scattered everywhere. This one caught my attention. Now I want to take you guys to look inside. I told you I'm just a tourist here. I know nothing. And if you know what's inside or if you know the name of it, just comment down below. Let's go. Now, I'm going to try to be quiet. When I come into these churches, I feel that it's disrespectful to record. But for some of you who can never travel to Russia, will never travel to Nizhny, you have to get a glimpse of what's inside. So, follow me. So, women have to cover their heads when they come into an Orthodox church, but the men can walk in just as they are. Some of the most beautiful things in Russia are inside the churches. You know, I said the women have to cover their heads. Outside here, there's one of these says maybe new or used or something of that effect. But look, they have things to cover your head. So that's for the women. So when they come with their heads not covered, this is an Orthodox church, you have to cover up. This seems to be a miniature version of what is here. And actually, it has a QR code. Feel free to scan it. If you've never been to Nizhny, you could at least scan it from your screen and see what we saw. Now, I'm from Los Angeles, and stuff like this, we see it everywhere. And actually, it's not so impressive. But I just had to show you this. There is graffiti in the city of Nizhny. Of course, it's not the kind that we like to see, but you're going to see murals. And yeah, it's very common. A lot of people think that Russia's perfect. I'm not hating on Russia, but you're going to see that kind of stuff. People probably pee there. Well, guys, the train station in Nizhny is behind me. It's going to take me all the way back to Moscow, and then I have to go to Moscow all the way back to Irkutsk. But I want to make sure that I get myself a shawarma. And, well, I've been craving this the entire time in Nizhny, and it's really appropriate that there is one right next to the train station. So I'll see you guys later. I'm going to enjoy the shawarma.
Приятного аппетита.
Спасибо. До свидания.